increasing clouds, a little cooler, lows 43 to 45. For Tuesday, a beautiful day. Sunshine, highs upper 60s with areas of showers returning Wednesday night through Thursday morning. This forecast is brought to you by Lowe's. Give your home the gift of big savings this year. Hurry in today for great Christmas deals on all of your home improvement needs at your neighborhood Lowe's. And I'm Sorgene 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hello, everybody. It is another wonderful day here, December 14th, sunny Nooga, Tennessee. A little bit of a breeze going. Weather's been pretty nice, which is crazy because we are in the middle of December. We are in the literal center of December, and it's sunny outside. I'm having issues with allergies. My girlfriend's having issues with allergies because the trees and the flowers that closed for the winter just open back up. They think it's spring. I don't like this situation. I don't like this non-committal weather that we have because it is going to get cold again. And it's Chattanooga, so it's going to get cold again suddenly. That's just how it works. It stinks, man. Heisman Trophy winning running back for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Derrick Henry. And it looked like he was going to win the Heisman. He won the Player of the Year award on Thursday. He cleaned up a lot of awards. Best running back. He cleaned up a lot of awards. But when it came to the Heisman, I think that a lot of people thought Christian McCaffrey was just as deserving, especially the West Coast guys. You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. This is Clutch with Keon Rose. I'm Keon Rose. Thank you for joining me today. Just talking about the Heisman a little bit with Derrick Henry. And a lot of people thought that Christian McCaffrey should have won it. McCaffrey, of course, blew the nation away in all-purpose yards. He set a record for all-purpose yards. I mean, when you look at what the guy is able to do, he is able to run between the tackles. He is able to run and operate out on the outside, out in space. He is able to catch the ball and try and make a play happen. And on top of that, the guy returns punts. A couple of punt returns for a touchdown. So he is the total package. Very athletic dude. They were talking about it at the award ceremony. His parents are very athletic. He's very, very athletic background. So, I mean, Christian McCaffrey shouldn't be shocked that he was where he was in the position to possibly win the Heisman. I just wouldn't have given it to him over Derrick Henry. Like, Derrick Henry's a workhorse. And in a game like college football where guys do get a lot of touches, there's not a ton of workhorses. Even in the NFL, there's not a ton of workhorses. It's just rare. This year, it's been Fournette, it's been Elliott, it's been Henry, and Henry's been the best. Alabama uses him in a lot of different ways. I mean, if you have a lead, Derrick Henry's the guy. You just turn around and keep handing it to that guy. Your lead is safe because he averages 5.9 yards a carry, and he gets in the end zone. I mean, it's just plain and simple. And then even playing from behind, because he averages so many yards a carry on downs that should be passing downs for most teams, not passing downs for Alabama, because he could get him 6. You know what I mean? Like 3rd and 5 is not usually a running down. It's not usually a running down, but you got Derrick Henry. Hey, turn around and give it to that guy. And that's what they do. So I'm glad Derrick Henry won the award. I thought that he should have won it. There are some people, especially like I said before, the West Coast media really wanted Christian McCaffrey to win that award. A few of them, I believe Adam Shine is one, just thought that it wasn't even close. That he thought Christian McCaffrey should be the award winner, and it wasn't even close. But you sit down and watch Stanford games all the time. You're a West Coast guy. You know, and I'm not saying that my opinion isn't skewed either. I'm a Southern guy. Watched a lot of Alabama this season. Saw what Derrick Henry's capable of. Like, I've seen him smash defenses apart, really good defenses. Like, what he did to LSU wasn't funny, and LSU is a good defense. They're not like elite, but they're good. And he tore through them like they were not there. And once Alabama got that lead, they just kept giving it to him. They're not afraid of your defense. They're not afraid of your best run defense. Okay? And they don't ask Coker to do much because Derrick Henry carries so much of that workload. He is the offense. Okay? Christian McCaffrey did a lot of great things for Stanford, but Stanford's got a number of great wide receivers. They've got a great tight end. They've got a great quarterback. Christian McCaffrey isn't the Stanford offense. Derrick Henry is the Crimson Tide offense. He is. He's not only the featured back in a sport that doesn't have as many featured backs as it used to, he was the offense. He's the featured player. He's the featured face of that offense. So Derrick Henry winning the Heisman Trophy, to me, makes all the sense in the world. To others, not so much. I think, part of it is, and this, it's a weird thing in sports, especially football. Football's got racial biases that don't make any sense. Football has racial biases that don't make any sense, and I think we want to see the white running back succeed because the white running back is extinct. Like there's one or two of them that pop up every now and then, and you're just like, oh, that guy's amazing. But like the stigma against running backs being white, like most running backs are not white. And there's a stigma there that if you are a white athlete, chances are you don't attempt to be a running back. And if you are, I don't know what the biases are in place that a coach is going to look at you and decide that you're not going to be good enough, but you don't get very far. You just don't see them. You don't see them in the NFL. You don't see them in the highest points of college football. You just don't see them. It's the black quarterback and the white running back. You don't see them as much. Okay, you're starting to see them more and more in college football as that position gets more athletic. But it's just a little bit insulting to see that the quarterback position is seen as an intelligent position, and so for whatever reason, your average quarterback is still considered white. It's just that's the position of intelligence that you see, and you want that person to be white, and it's a bias that doesn't make any sense because, of course, your color of your skin doesn't determine your intelligence at all, right? But then you have the other side of the coin where the running back position is considered the athletic position. And even though Christian McCaffrey is an athlete, an incredible athlete, people weren't talking about Christian McCaffrey all season long, right? Like he wasn't even in the Heisman conversation until kind of late when you were looking at the numbers and going like, oh my goodness, this Christian McCaffrey is amazing. You just don't see white people as athletic. And that's weird to me. It's strange. He has an athletic background. His parents are athletic. He's just not seen as more athletic than Derrick Henry. I think that's odd. I think that's very odd. And it's every time we see a white running back pop up in the NFL, like we have no choice but to be excited because there's like 4 guys. And a couple of them aren't in the league anymore. Like Peyton Hillis had his run with the Browns. I can't remember the name of the guy in in Minnesota that backs up Adrian Peterson. He had a good run. Like, you see him here and there in spots. And Christian McCaffrey is interesting because he's tiny. Like, compared to football players, he's tiny. Christian McCaffrey's my size. I'm not tiny, but you put me on a football field and I clearly don't belong. 5'10". Christian McCaffrey looks like he belongs in the Patriots offense, because that's what Bill Belichick does over there with his, I'm going to use white skill position players because the rest of the league isn't using them because I don't know why. Okay, like Wes Welker, athletic guy. Danny Woodhead was with the Patriots, now in San Diego, athletic guy. Danny Woodhead's another one. It's like there's like 4 guys, and you're just like, it just baffles me because I don't understand what we have to do so that we have more black quarterbacks in the league and more white running backs. Because the athleticism that it takes to be a lineman, you have to be very athletic. That's not just power, okay? J.J. Watt is a superhuman. So how is it that we have athletic white people and we're not having any of them play at the running back position? Like none of them, especially in the SEC, in the Pac-12, in the Big 12, in the ACC, in those upper division schools. Running backs always black, quarterbacks always white. Almost always. That strikes me as so bizarre and so odd. Like, I can't put my mind around it. It's a weird thing. This is AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. I'm Keon Rose, and now we're talking about the NFL here for a little bit, because I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and what has happened to them since they started the season 6-0. I haven't really talked about them very much because they've been losing a lot of games. There's just not a whole lot to even really be talking about. They're bad. They're a bad football team. And when you're 6-0 to start the season, that's not the consensus, right? The thing about the NFL is you win one week, you're a hero. You lose one week, you're a GOAT. And because there's 16 games, every game has so much weight. Like, winning a game is like a 4-game winning streak. Losing a game is like an 8-game losing streak. It just feels worse than it actually is. It feels worse. And, the Falcons started off 6-0. So we were talking about Dan Quinn. What did he bring to this defense? And the thing to note about that is they're not any different than the beginning of the season. But if you look at the games that the Falcons were winning, one, they weren't high-quality games. And I remember saying this when they were about 4-0. They weren't high-quality games. They didn't beat the best teams in the league. 2, they won those games closely. When you win a lot of games close, those are wins that could have been losses. And I know we say a win's a win. A win's not always a win. Okay, sometimes a win should have been a loss. And maybe that doesn't change the score of the current game, doesn't change the score of the game now, but it does determine future games. That future games, if you're winning these games by 2, 3 points, you're having to come back for every game, that means in the future, your luck's going to run out. You're going to catch one of these losses, and the Falcons have caught 7 losses in a row, 6 wins in a row, followed by 7 losses in a row. And I think people's opinion of Dan Quinn has changed. Mine hasn't, because that makes sense. It's completely irrational. People's judgments of Dan Quinn and Matt Ryan and this Falcons team, if they were good when they were 6-0, they didn't just suddenly get bad. No, their offensive line isn't great. This team has not been built well. Okay, we're not looking at a good football team. We're looking at a team with good skill position players. And we can't even really say that about Matt Ryan right now. Who is a guy that I like? I like Matt Ryan. Okay, I think people jump on him and criticize him too harshly. I like Matt Ryan, but he hasn't been playing well for about 8 weeks. That includes the bye week. I think they lost the bye week too. They should be 6-8. But like, the thing is with Matt Ryan and this offense, they've got good pieces in place, but their offensive line stinks. It's bad. They can't really run the ball. Despite having Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, not on target. Not on target. You've got to scheme some ways to get that guy open because he's enormous. He's one of the top 5 receivers in the league, top 3 even. How do you not have a way to get the ball to Julio Jones? How is it that Roddy White is getting no touches? Okay, I understand that he's old now, but geez, get the ball in his hands. Are we serious? And on top of all of that, this defense is awful, and that we knew. Dan Quinn came in. We talked about how he fixed the defense. He fixed the defense schematically. The players, A, don't fit his style, and B, still stink. This is not a good football team, the Atlanta Falcons. And we're going to get to the Titans after the break in a little bit. But this here is a bad football team. And we should have seen it coming. They didn't win these games convincingly. They didn't win any game convincingly against mediocre opponents. So, of course, when they run into the undefeated Panthers, they get blanked 38-0. Can't let people do you like that in the league, man. You can't do that. I mean, 38-0, man. This is AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. And I have something that will be interesting to you if you're a UFC fan. The UFC currently is short on stars. And I know how they can turn that Ronda Rousey loss into 3 of them. Count them. Next.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240.
Don't be a victim. Arm yourself today at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range, offering the finest selection of personal firearms and ammo, especially the hard-to-find ammunition. You know the police can't protect you. They show up after the crime is committed. The ability to protect yourself, your family, and when called upon your nation is enshrined in the United States Constitution. Shop the largest selection of shooting supplies on their online store. CarterShootingSupply.com. Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. The largest and cheapest selection in Chattanooga. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099. That's 344-1099. Keep your family safe this Christmas by buying them a certificate for Carter Shooting Supply Tennessee Handgun Permit Class. And stop by today to consult one of their qualified experts. They'll fit you perfectly to the firearm that meets your needs. Call 344-1099. You'll always find the widest selection of new and used firearms at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099.
Do I sound like a guy who loves to eat? Yeah. You too? Guess what? I cook the meanest hamburger in Hickson at my little restaurant, Armando's at Chester Frost Park. That's it. Right by the entrance, Chester Frost Park on Hickson Pike. I'd like you to come by and let me cook you dinner too. Bring your family, kids, friends. Lunch for common folk, just not the common lunch. Yeah, we're perfect for lunch. And dinner too. Meat guy? Yeah. Potatoes? Yeah. Catfish, BLTs, pecan pie, hot cup of coffee or ice cold sweet tea. Armando's, that's us. Go on by 11 to 9, Monday through Saturday, right outside the entrance, Chester Frost Park, across from Thrasher.
Lay your burdens down at the woodhouse. Leave all your worries at the door. Just take some time. We're transforming life.
Happy holidays
At the Wood.
from the Woodhouse Day Spa. Holiday gift cards available at chattanooga.woodhousespas.com. I love my Flex loan from Advance Financial. I needed cash, I needed it fast, and I didn't want to get a payday loan. My Flex loan from Advance Financial is not a payday loan. It's a line of credit. I only pay for the cash I need, and I only pay for the time that I need it. There's no lump sum payment. My Advanced Financial Flex Loan is an open line of credit, and I can get cash anytime I need it.
Visit one of our 24/7 locations and get the cash you need today. Advanced Financial, welcome.
Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Hi, this is Jerry Recco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, myself for all the action.
Hot News Talk 1240.
If it's the NFL, it's right here.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Any showers will head off to the east through the afternoon with drier weather returning. High settling into the lower to middle 60s. Tonight, decreasing clouds, a little cooler, lows 43 to 45. For Tuesday, a beautiful day. Sunshine, highs upper 60s with areas of showers returning Wednesday night through Thursday morning. This forecast is brought to you by Lowe's. Give your home the gift of big savings this year. Hurry in today for great Christmas deals on all of your home improvement needs at your neighborhood Lowe's. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Ronda Rousey lost to Holly Holm not too long ago, and Ronda Rousey is the UFC's biggest star, if not one of her biggest stars. And the thing about this loss is that it puts them in a precarious predicament, because now Holly Holm has got the belt. She's got the opportunity to be the star here. Holly Holm doesn't have the star power that Ronda Rousey did. She's not brash. She's not loud. She's not in your face. She's very quiet, demure. She keeps herself. And so basically, she's a star in that she beat Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's still a star, but part of Ronda Rousey's stardom was that she was undefeated. She was just laying waste to people, beating up opponents in seconds. Like, you watch a Ronda Rousey fight, and the question that you have is, how fast is she going to beat them? Seconds. Okay? That's the reason why, of all the fighters in that weight division of the women's side of the UFC, Miesha Tate's the one that we know, because Miesha Tate got beaten slower. She's good. Miesha Tate's good, but she got beaten slower. She didn't get beaten as quickly. That's the reason why she got a second fight, where she also didn't get beaten as quickly, but she did get beaten. So now you're in a position here where you went from having one star to not really having any, because, again, part of the allure of Ronda Rousey was this invincibility. She doesn't have that anymore. She doesn't have that anymore. So now you're wondering, where does the star power come from? How do they turn this around so that they still have their stars? Because the UFC is having a star deficiency right now. And it's the same thing that you see happen in boxing, where there's a lot of really, really good boxers, but nobody stands out as great outside of Floyd Mayweather and maybe Pacquiao in his prime. Okay, so you have no star power there. Like, part of Floyd Mayweather's record is that he is undefeated. That's part of his star power. If Floyd Mayweather were to lose a fight, his next fight would not be as interesting. Okay, it just wouldn't. What makes, Manny Pacquiao interesting, because Manny Pacquiao wasn't undefeated in the first place, and he fought in a lot of fights in the Philippines and everything. He's got more wear on him than probably Floyd does. But you could watch Manny Pacquiao, and you wanted to see how he was going to win the fight. You wanted to see how much damage he was going to do, because he has some of the fastest hands I've ever seen in the sport. Okay? And you see that now with Golovkin in the boxing world. Golovkin's powerful dude. He's knocking people out. You watch a Golovkin fight, you're watching him, and that's the reason why he's got star potential. You're watching to see how he's going to destroy this person that he's fighting. It's just more fun. It's a more fun fight to watch. You know, the Golden State Warriors in the NBA will be interesting to watch because of how they play. They're not undefeated anymore, but that's okay because they still play an incredibly fun brand of basketball. It's the how. So now with Ronda Rousey losing the fight, you've got a few ways to do this in the UFC. You can turn one star into three. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans because I'm very disappointed in the Tennessee Titans. Got whooped up on by the Jets. And that was another. At least they scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, at least they put points on the board. Poor Atlanta Falcons didn't even get the score. The defense of the Panthers, that's an elite defense. That's an elite defense. I understand that some of the blame does go to the Falcons just being generally offensively inept for the past 7 to 8 weeks. That's part of the blame goes to them. They have looked dreadful. Just dreadful. But part of that is that Carolina's defense, that's a real good defense. And just an aside, the linebacker for the Panthers, Luke Kuechly, does Luke Kuechly not look like you could cast him as Superman in a movie? He looks like who I would cast as Superman in a Superman movie. He looks more like Superman than Henry Cavill, who is currently playing Superman. And I'm just saying, I would cast him. The Titans lose 30-8. The New York Jets. The Jets also have a pretty good defense. That situation there with New York. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns. That Jets defense is for real. Todd Bowles has guts. He blitzes all the time. And the Titans didn't have a way to counteract that. They blitz constantly. I mean, it's at some point you're thinking, like, we know they're going to blitz. How is this still working? Like, how does Todd Bowles have any way of disguising this? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. How does Todd Bowles have any way of hiding these blitzes or disguising these blitzes? Because I think the stats, at least, a couple of weeks ago in the season when I checked, they were blitzing like 75% of the time. 3 out of every 4 plays run on defense for the Jets are blitzes. Now, I understand there are a lot of different creative ways to blitz, disguise your blitzes, but at some point, you just know they're sending more people than I can block. There's got to be somebody open up field. Mariota and the Titans couldn't take advantage of whatever that is. Like, either Todd Bowles is the most genius blitzer in the history of the game, or everybody's missing something. Because there's no way you blitz 75% of the time and it doesn't mean anything. 75% of the time. Do you understand? 75%. There's got to be a way to counter that. There just has to be. And I haven't seen anybody really do it outside of the Patriots. Because the Patriots just throw short passes. That's what they do. And if that's what you have to do to beat it, then do that. Then that's what you have to do to beat it. Good grief, man. Seriously? It's not like the Jets have like the most elite defensive athletes. They've got great players. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to stand here and tell you, the Jets don't have great players. The Jets have great players, okay? They have great players. But I don't know if you remember back in the day, Randy Moss, when he was with the Vikings and Mike Tice was the head coach. Mike Tice had the Randy ratio. You remember the Randy ratio? 3 out of every 4 passes were to be, or 1 in every 4 passes was to be thrown in the direction of Randy Moss. which is easy to scheme for, except that Randy Moss is an incredible athlete that breaks games. You just throw the ball over to Randy. He'll figure out how to come down with it. And then he'll also figure out how to pick up the extra yards and possibly even score. That worked because Randy was so incredible. Even when you knew the ball was going over there, you couldn't stop it. You know, that makes sense to me. This defense is not filled with guys of Randy Moss level talent. We don't have one guy on that defense with that level of talent. Not one guy. You hear me? Not one. Okay, we got Gilchrist. Muhammad Wilkerson's good. Henderson's good. Darrelle Revis is really good. But they can afford to blitz because they can keep you locked up one-on-one with Cromartie and Revis. But the issue is they're still blitzing. So you've got lots of space over the middle. Like, even if Cromartie and Revis are taking away the sides, there should still be a pass that you can throw to the middle. Some kind of slant pass, some kind of screen pass, bubble screen. I don't care what it is. This is silliness. He's blitzing 75% of the time. He is more often than not blitzing to the point where you literally can just go ahead and account for that. Like, scheme that in with the rest of your stuff. How are you losing that game? Like, I don't understand it. You've got Mariota, who is mobile as all get out, can buy time with the play until somebody is open. You don't even have to throw at Revis and Cromartie if you don't want to. Silly is what it is. It's absolutely silly. I don't get it. Am I wrong on that one? Somebody tell me that I'm wrong, because I'd love to be wrong. And I think Todd Bowles is a fantastic coach, and certainly in New York right now, in that division where it's not a tough division, but it's not a cupcake division either. In that division where he's doing a pretty good job. Like, he seems like the real deal over there. I think he's turned the Jets around. They've gotten Ryan Fitzpatrick back, which is definitely better than having Geno Smith. Like, way, way better than having Geno Smith. I like the Jets, but I can't help but look at the AFC South and look at the future of that division and go, it's got a bright future, but not if you can't figure out how to score more than 8 points against the guy that blitzes 75% of the time. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand. What does he know that the rest of the NFL coaches don't know about blitzing? Because I'm telling you, if you could blitz with a success rate like that, okay, because they're 8-5, so they're a very beatable team. It's not like you ran into the Panthers, like the Falcons did. It's not like you ran into the Panthers. So I don't understand what that is. We're going to be talking some SEC basketball in a little bit here on Clutch with Keon Rose. And also, teased a little bit about it before, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. The UFC has a star problem, and they can turn Ronda Rousey's loss into 3 stars. This is Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
While politicians debate climate change and taking our guns, they leave America vulnerable to disaster. You need to act now to keep your family safe and prepared. Do you have an emergency plan? Do you have long-term storage food? Do you have the skills and mindset to survive a disaster? If not, what are you waiting for? Call P5 Preparedness right now, 423-602-2175. Do you honestly think the government is going to help you? If you do, you are wrong, dead wrong. Don't get caught unprepared. Let the experts at P5 Preparedness get you ready for any emergency or disaster situation. Today, we offer a wide range of classes for the beginner on how to prepare as well as the expert prepper. We stock a wide range of supplies, including long-term storage food, water filtration, outdoor gear, tactical gear, and plate carriers. P5 Preparedness, East Brainerd Road between I-75 and Gun Barrel Road. You will see the Army Deuce and a Half truck, 423-602-2175, 1309 Panorama Drive, Chattanooga. P5preparedness.com.
Celebrate the holidays with cheer and basement bargain prices at One Stop Package in the Sunrise Market Center, Sunny Daisy. The brand new One Stop Package beverage store on Old Dayton Pike, just north of the Thrasher Light, with the best prices in town. Enjoy the lowest prices on beer, wine, liquor, and soft drinks. Hey, mention you heard this ad on Hot News Talk Radio and get 5% off your purchase. That's right. Mention you heard this on the radio and you'll get 5% off. The brand new One Stop Package beverage store in Sunny Daisy. Their prices are always the lowest prices in town. The lowest prices you'll find in the finest of adult beverages. The brand new One Stop Package in South Sunny Daisy at the Sunrise Market, featuring great prices on gas, bread, and milk. The Sunrise Market just across from Charlie's in Sunny Daisy. And remember, always drink responsibly.
Get 10% off every case of wine.
The Fed raising rates, China's economy in trouble. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Patrick Neal. At Edward Jones, we provide the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Stop by my office next to the Target Shopping Center in Hickson, or call me at 423-870-7894. That's Patrick Neal at 870-7894. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
I'm the type of guy that likes a big breakfast, a couple of eggs, bacon, and some gravy and biscuits. I get that at Wimpy's. I know they have specials at lunch every day. That includes a big meat and three menu. At night, I want some good comfort food. Maybe some smoked brisket, pulled barbecue, or ribs. They've got that too. Wimpy's the type of place where you can go in and have a good conversation, catch up what's going on in Saudi Daisy, and have some great food. That's why I go to Wimpy's. You know where it's at, on Dayton Boulevard, right across from City Hall. That's Wimpy's. Give them a call, 423-332-6201. Did you hear me? It's 332-6201. Wimpy's. They're even on Facebook. At Wimpy's, I know your mouth is watering just like mine. So let's go to Wimpy's.
Good game there for Johnny Manziel in Cleveland for the Browns. He had a good win. Threw an interception. Bashed his head against the play tablet. Knocked some sense into himself, apparently. And he went on to lead the Browns over the 49ers. And there were just a couple of things to note from that game, one of which was Johnny Manziel, former Texas A&M quarterback. But also, there was a quote from the 49ers that just caught my eye because I didn't understand. It was from Niners linebacker Ahmad Brooks, who said that the 49ers, they took Johnny Manziel a little lightly. He said, maybe we did take them a little light. We got the win last week, and maybe we got a little big-headed. We got the win last week, and maybe we got a little big-headed. You're the Niners this season, and you have no right to get big-headed. How does that happen? To me, this is a question of how arrogance happens. What causes a person to be arrogant, especially on a team in which they are 4-9? Arrogant on a team where they've been terrible all season long. They haven't been good. You want to say it's the offense and the way Kaepernick played and the fact that their current quarterback is now Blaine Gabbert. You could say those things. Those things would be very valid things to say. I get that. But the defense has been dreadful too. The defense has also been bad. So how do you get big-headed? How do you manage to get even remotely arrogant on that team so that you take anybody lightly? The Browns are 3-10. You're 4-9. That's a game difference, dude. How are you big-headed? How does that actually occur to you? You beat the Bears. They're not good either. And you beat them in overtime on a run from Blaine Gabbert, which nobody saw coming. And the ultimate plot twist, like a game directed by M. Night Shyamalan, the ultimate plot twist, nobody saw that run from Blaine Gabbert coming. He looked like Kaepernick. How do you get big-headed? What does that mean? How do you manage to do something like that? Somebody. Tell me, figure that out for me and call this show and tell me. The number is 800-8949. I'd love to know. I don't know how you managed to get arrogant from 4-9. Okay, you did have a couple of key victories, I guess, in your season, but most of your season has been bad losses to bad teams. You're the 49ers. This is what your schedule has looked like this year. Ready? You won against Minnesota, 20-3. Pittsburgh drops 40 on you. Arizona drops 40 on you. Green Bay holds you to 3. You beat the Giants, or you lose to the Giants 30-27. You beat Baltimore in a game that was filled with so much nonsense, I fell asleep and woke back up and didn't care. Seattle beat you 20-3. St. Louis beats you 27-6. You beat Atlanta, but as we talked about earlier in the show, 7 straight losses for Atlanta. Everyone's beating Atlanta. You just had a turn. Lose to Seattle 29-13. Lose to Arizona 19-13. Beat Chicago last week. The win that apparently got you big-headed after losing 4 out of your last 5 before that to lose to Cleveland. Where does the arrogance come from? This is a legitimate question. I don't mean to just suddenly wax pseudo-philosophical on everybody, but where does arrogance come from? Because it's one thing to be Cam Newton arrogant, where you are just dominating right now, and people can't stop you. You look untackleable. Your team is undefeated. It looks like it can win in good weather. It looks like it can win in bad weather. It's designed to win everywhere. The running game's great. The offensive line's good. Cam Newton is unbeatable. Might be an MVP winner coming up here if he continues to play the way he's been playing. Absolutely ruling the NFC South. Yeah, you can get a little bit big-headed, okay, when you're 11-0. So Cam Newton's ever-growing repertoire of dances makes sense when you're 11-0. When you're 4-9 and you've lost 5 out of your last 7, big-headed for what? You beat a bad team in overtime? Really? I do not understand. Like, I just don't get it. Where did that come from? How do you do that? Where does that kind of arrogance come from? Because it's not the arrogance of being great. Okay? Must be some kind of historical arrogance that you've got, and if you look at it like from a racial perspective, for instance, and this is AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. This is an actual sports show, Clutch with Keon Rose. But if you look at it from a racial perspective, you have people who have their entire lives basically learned behavior, have learned that being a certain race makes you better. So it doesn't matter if you don't graduate from high school, never make it to college, you have a certain skin color, so you feel better about yourself, even though you're mired and you're stuck in mediocrity. Basically, the 49ers and everyone else have been saying you're better than the Browns. The Browns are the Browns, okay? They'll do Cleveland things, and you'll eventually beat them just based on their own ineptitude and incompetence. But that's not how it works. You don't get to be better than somebody on pure merit. You actually have to be better than them on the field. You have to be better than them in actual actions. And you can't expect the ineptitude of the Cleveland Browns to beat the Cleveland Browns when you yourself are also an inept franchise being run into the ground by a man who fired a coach who took you to a Super Bowl not but 2 years before then. You went NFC Championship game, Super Bowl. You fired the coach. I hate to break it to you, Ahmad Brooks and the rest of the San Francisco 49ers, you're the Browns too. Okay? You are also Cleveland. There's like 5 to 6 teams that are so poorly run, they're never going anywhere. Redskins, Raiders, Browns, Rams, and you. I tossed the Colts in there, but they have Andrew Luck, so they've got a chance where most people don't. And at least the Redskins can run the ball. And at least the Raiders have Derek Carr. And at least the Rams have... Okay, so I don't know what the Rams have. And you are also on this list. Like, it's just, you are one of the inept teams in the league. The arrogance that you're better than Cleveland makes no sense. This is just a fact of life. You can't look at other people and think of yourself as better than them because, well, their family's always been unsuccessful. So, live your life. Worry about yourself. Make your decisions. Make your positive impact on the world. Get out of here with the we got big-headed because you beat the Bears in overtime? Oh, my goodness. This is AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. And look. Let's just get into the UFC take there because I went a little long on that one. I read that during the break, and I was so confused. Got big-headed. You know who got a little big-headed? Ronda Rousey. And she lost to Holly Holm. Holly Holm, one of the best camps in the world. Holly Holm, of course, was a boxer as well. Knew what to do against Ronda Rousey, knew how to counter Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey didn't seem prepared for what Holly Holm was able to do, which is basically avoid her in a punching trade-off that would result in her being on the ground underneath Ronda Rousey being submitted somehow. She was able to avoid the cataclysmic mistake that most people make when fighting Ronda Rousey, which is that she basically dashes across the octagon trying to knock you out, and people engage her. Once she engages you in a fist fight, it's not long before she engages you in some kind of grappling, in some kind of ground technique. And Holly Holm was able to counter that effectively, knocked Ronda Rousey out. Ronda Rousey's not going to be able to fight. Like, it's going to be a while before she can eat an apple. That an apple might be too strong for where her teeth are right now. That's how hard she got knocked out. So the UFC's kind of in a star conundrum here, especially in that women's division where it's pretty much Ronda and Misha and Holly and soup cans. So here's what the UFC ought to do. What they're going to allow Ronda Rousey to do is to automatically challenge for her belt back, because that's in the tradition of the UFC. This is what they do well. Let her challenge for the belt back. But Holly's not going to be allowed to fight until Ronda's ready to go. Why not have Holly Holm fight the rest of the division? If she wins, she becomes a bigger star, which her fighting is going to have to do that for her because her mouth isn't. She's not a mouthy person. She's not rude, disrespectful, preacher's kid. And Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast, also commentator for the UFC, he was talking about this, and I really agree. Having Holly fight other people can only be good for the UFC until Ronda's ready to go. If you have Holly fight Misha Tate, if Misha Tate wins, now you've got some star power behind Misha. If she doesn't, then Holly Holm just continues to grow a little bit more. By the time Ronda's ready to come back and challenge, you could have Misha Tate, Holly Holm, and Ronda Rousey now standing at the top of that division in some kind of three-way rock, paper, scissors kind of deal. I'm okay with that. I think that would be really, really cool because in the fighting sports right now, there's not a whole lot of that. There isn't in any of the divisions. Okay? I mean, you got Tyson Fury and you got Klitschko in boxing, I guess, but like that's not... Klitschko ruled that for so long. I can't name any heavyweights. Tyson Fury looks really doughy, by the way. Like, he doesn't even look like... I don't know. I looked at him and I didn't see heavyweight champion of the world in Tyson Fury. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. That could just be me. But I think the UFC is really missing an opportunity there if they don't let Ronda Rousey get into some, into a position where she can recover, where she can heal up, where she can rest up, and have Holly Holm fight other people to build her name and build her brand. So by the time the two of them clash, you can have some kind of clash of titans. Just not the Tennessee Titans, because they're bad. They're really, really bad at figuring out what it is that Todd Bowles is doing, which is blitzing. He's definitely blitzing. This is Clutch with Keon Rose. Thank you for joining me today and giving me your time. Coming up next, The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd, right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Any showers will head off to the east through the afternoon with drier weather returning. High settling into the lower to middle 60s. Tonight, decreasing clouds, a little cooler, lows 43 to 45. For Tuesday, a beautiful day. Sunshine, highs upper 60s with areas of showers returning Wednesday night through Thursday morning. This forecast is brought to you by Lowe's. Give your home the gift of big savings this year. Hurry in today for great Christmas deals on all of your home improvement needs at your neighborhood Lowe's. And I'm Storage Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Hi, this is Jerry Recco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, myself for all the action.
Hot News Talk 1240.
If it's the NFL, it's right here.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Lay your burdens down at the woodhouse. Leave all your worries at the door. Just take some time. We're transforming life.
Happy holidays at the Wood. From the Woodhouse Day Spa. Holiday gift cards available at chattanooga.woodhousespas.com.
A view like no other awaits you for lunch or Ari's in Sunny Daisy. Ari's Harbor Light is the restaurant over the glittering waters of Lake Chickamauga there at the marina. It serves you a quiet dinner for two, a solitary glass after a day of toil, a delicious family feast, pleasing even the pickiest 8-year-old niece here for the holidays. Come today. Ari's Harbor Lights restaurant lays a generous smorgasbord of seafood, Greek specialties, Italian pasta. Try Ari's at 11 for lunch. Ari's, 9700 Hickson Pike, Sunny Daisy, 843-2800. Open Tuesday through Sunday. A great place for a holiday party. Happy hour, 3 to 7. Ari's.
CBS Radio News brought to you by Kubota. You can count on Kubota to help you get the toughest jobs done with ease, comfort, and efficiency. Whether you need a compact tractor, zero-turn mower, or diesel utility vehicle, let Kubota help you get your work done. Find your local Kubota dealer at TennesseeKubotaDealers.com.
At Kubota, there's only one thing we're selling. Great tractors.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Do I sound like a guy who loves to eat? Yeah. YouTube, guess what? I cook the meanest hamburger in Hickson at my little restaurant, Armando's at Chester Frost Park. That's it. Right by the entrance, Chester Frost Park on Hickson Pike. I'd like you to come by and let me cook you dinner too. Bring your family, kids, friends. Lunch for common folk, just not the common lunch. Yeah, we're perfect for lunch. And dinner too. Meat guy? Yeah. Potatoes? Yeah. Catfish, BLTs, pecan pie, hot cup of coffee or ice cold sweet tea. Armando's. That's us. Going by 11 to 9, Monday through Saturday, right outside the entrance, Chester Frost Park, across from Thrasher.
I love my Flex loan from Advance Financial. I needed cash, I needed it fast, and I didn't want to get a payday loan. My Flex loan from Advance Financial is not a payday loan. It's a line of credit. I only pay for the cash I need, and I only pay for the time that I need it. There's no lump sum payment. My Advance Financial Flex loan is an open line of credit, and I can get cash anytime I need it.
Visit one of our 24/7 locations and get the cash you need today. Advance Financial. Welcome.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny
Play
Daisy.
to win your share of $1 million every week.
CBS News. I'm Harley Carnes. President Obama says after getting the latest from his military experts, the battles go well against ISIS. More on the president's update. CBS's Pam Coulter.
The president isn't trying to sugarcoat the challenge of defeating ISIS.
This continues to be a difficult fight.
But in an effort to reassure nervous Americans, he said coalition forces are hitting ISIS harder than ever, with nearly 9,000 airstrikes so far. And he mentioned by name half a dozen ISIS leaders who've been killed.
The point is, ISIL leaders cannot hide. And our next message to them is simple: you are next.
The president will also visit the National Counterterrorism Center this week to highlight how government agencies are working together to stop ISIS. Pam Coulter, CBS News, the White House.
Just in, the military judge in the Bo Bergdahl desertion case has decided to move forward with a trial by court-martial. Bergdahl walked away from his post and was taken captive by the Taliban, held for several years, and returned in a swap for 5 high-value terrorist detainees from Guantanamo. The Veterans Affairs whistleblower testified today in Arizona at a Senate field hearing into the department.
Dr. Catherine Mitchell says a big part of the problem is the VA's institutional culture.
Several of the offending senior administrators have voluntarily left the Phoenix VA without ever facing any consequences for their retaliatory behavior. Other unscrupulous Phoenix VA administrators and supervisors remain in positions of power.
She says the ER care is still substandard too.
Dangerous ER nursing triage, ER staffing shortages, whistleblower retaliation, and facility scheduling violations, among other issues.
The hearing was held this morning in Gilbert, Arizona. Kathy Klein for CBS News, Phoenix.
Comedian Bill Cosby is trying to turn the tables on some of his accusers.
Bill Cosby is fighting back, filing a countersuit against 7 women who are suing him. In the countersuit, Cosby's attorney accuses the women of malicious, false, and defamatory accusations of sexual misconduct. Dozens of women across the country have accused Cosby. Some have filed lawsuits. Cosby has denied the accusations, but this is the first time Cosby himself has gone to court to challenge them.
That's CBS's Steve Futterman. Today, the new Quinnipiac poll shows the race among Republicans in Iowa very close. Assistant poll director Peter Brown.
The latest Quinnipiac poll finds that the race in Iowa is essentially dead even. Donald Trump has 28%. Senator Ted Cruz has 27%.
Wall Street, the Dow down 5 points. NASDAQ is off 9. Major League Baseball has said no again to Pete Rose, his application to have his lifetime ban overturned for betting on games. New York Times reporter Michael Schmidt broke the story.
I think baseball still has questions about how forthcoming Rose has been about his gambling. And I think for Manfred, there's no real upside to bringing him back.
This is CBS News.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
The world hopes to keep the globe's temperature from going up 1 more degree Celsius over the next few decades.
6 years of work and 2 weeks of intense negotiation between 195 nations and the landmark climate accord was born Saturday. European Union Climate Action Commissioner Miguel Arias-Cañete says Europe should be proud of the deal that will cut greenhouse gas emissions enough to significantly curb global warming.
Paris is a major win for Europe and its allies.
But Cañete also warns tough days lie ahead. Each country must figure out for itself how to cut carbon emissions.
What has been promised must now be delivered.
All but a handful of the participating governments have submitted their plans. Terry Schultz for CBS News, Brussels.
The Czech Republic is saying, send us your Christian refugees from Iraq. Czech President Milos Zeman says the threat of Islamist radicals being what it is, he wants families from the Christian minority who are running for their lives from ISIS to make their lives in his country. Slovakian leaders have said much the same thing. Harley Carnes, CBS News.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
CBS Radio News brought to you by Kubota. You can count on Kubota to help you get the toughest jobs done with ease, comfort, and efficiency. Whether you need a compact tractor, zero-turn mower, or diesel utility vehicle, let Kubota help you get your work done. Find your local Kubota dealer at TennesseeKubotaDealers.com.
At Kubota, there's only one thing we're selling. Great tractors.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Hi, this is Jerry Recco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, and myself for all the action.
Hot News Talk 1240.
If it's the NFL, it's right here.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Ladies and gentlemen. You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is The Herd. The Herd. With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
Best show on radio.
This is The Herd. Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The Herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be, however you may be listening, we're live in Los Angeles all week on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. What an NFL show today. Jack Del Rio, Raiders head coach, Peter Schrager, Inside Stuff, and Bill Parcells, the Hall of Famer, stop by. I believe that we now have about 5 teams that can win a Super Bowl. I do not buy the Green Bay Packers. I think they're a terrible matchup against Seattle, Arizona, and Carolina's front sevens. And I think New England, between having their strengths and the weaknesses, everything's falling in place. I've never felt with a month ago this confident about a team winning a Super Bowl, or at least getting there. New England's in. Every rival